about their experience of the manna, the wonder bread that God gave the Jewish people while they traveled in the wilderness. The verse says in chapter 8, verse 3, Vay'annecha vayar'ivecha, that you experienced hardship and hunger, vay'achilecha et haman, when God fed you the manna. So the Zera Shimshon quotes a midrash, and the midrash says, you know what? This verse, this pasuk in Parashat Ekev is the source in our Torah for the obligation to light Shabbat candles every week. Again, let's repeat this because this is going to be the question of Zera Shimshon. The fact that Moses mentions that it was hard and they were hungry when they ate the man, the Midrash says this is the verse, these are the words that we learn and we find the hint, the remez of Hadlakat Nerot Shabbat, of the lighting of the lights of Shabbat, the candle lighting of Shabbat, from here. Zera Shimshon says, what does one have to do with another? Man being hard and hungry, and Shabbat candles. What does one have to do with another? So listen to what he says. He says that there's something very special about when a person eats. That as much as a person enjoys the taste of their food, they also enjoy looking at their food, being able to view their food, to the point where the Talmud tells us that a person who unfortunately is blind is never satisfied. He's always hungry. And that's because he's not able to see his food. Imagine yourself sitting in a room that's pitch black and something's served to you to eat. Whatever it is, it's not the same culinary experience until you see the food. There's every sense that goes into eating. The smell, the sight, the taste, even the touch, even hearing. Try closing your ears and chewing. It's different. It's not what we're used to. And therefore, the sight is equally important, as Zera Shimshon explains, as the taste of the food itself. Why do we light Shabbat candles? Shabbat candles is a rabbinic obligation. There's nowhere in the Chumash where it tells us to light Shabbat candles. If anything, this verse of the hardship and the hunger of the man is the source or the hint for lighting candles on Shabbat. So why do we light candles on Shabbat? The Talmud says we light candles on Shabbat for shalom bayit, for peace in the home. The commentaries explain, so this way you don't trip on something, you don't bang into the wall, you don't bang into people. Can you imagine on a late Friday night after a long grumpy week, you're wobbling into your room and you trip on something and you fall through the wall? Or you run into one of your other family members? That's a big shalom bayit, right? No, it's not. So that's the reason why Shabbat candles are lit. But the Zera Shimshon takes it a step further. In halakha it's brought down that the candle lights that are lit for Shabbat should be ideally, specifically in the same room that the Shabbat meal is being eaten in. And if not in that room, at least from the dining room table, visible. But the point of the Shabbat candles, of course, is to illuminate the house for peace in the home. But more, he says it's in order to illuminate the meal, in order to see what you are eating, in order for you to fully enjoy the Shabbat food. Shabbat food always tastes better than the week. The same bread that's baked and cooked for Thursday is not going to taste the same if it's baked for Shabbat. The same dish, whether it's fish, whether it's chicken, meat, especially when it comes to shena, dafina, cholent, however you like to call it. It's not the same. Shabbat food has a special spice. It's like when your wife cooks for you, or when you cook for your husband, it always tastes great, or we hope it does. It's because there's a special spice. It's called the spice of love. But Shabbat has an extra spice. It's the spice of Shabbat. It's something which is so special. It's something which adds to our oneg Shabbat, our complete enjoyment of Shabbat. But it's not only the taste of the food, the Zera Shimshon says. It's also being able to view, to see it. That is the ultimate culinary experience. To taste and see the good, delicious food that you are eating. It's a whole science. That's what chefs go and learn. It's not only how to cook something that tastes good, it's the presentation. A lot of things in life are all about presentation. And the Zera Shimshon here, he makes the connection. He says, you know how come we learn, the Midrash learns from this verse in the Torah, that we have to light Shabbat candles on Shabbat, is because the man was a hardship and hunger. What's so hard, and what's so hard about the man? And what's so hungry? The man was the greatest food the world's ever seen. So great that Moses took a jar and kept some for generations. It was able to taste like anything you wanted. Imagine I gave you crackers or a pita or a wafer, as some of the Mefarshim explain, and you close your eyes and anything you want it to taste like, it tastes like. You can even open your eyes and it tastes like anything you want. But that's what's missing. You don't want to eat a wafer that tastes like ice cream. You don't want to eat a wafer that tastes like a steak. No. You want it big. You want it juicy. You want it crunchy. You want it the way that it's supposed to be. You don't even want it to taste like an apple. You want the density and the sight of the authentic food. So the Jewish people, when they were traveling for 40 years, they were always hungry. We see time and time again, they're complaining for food. They're complaining for meat. They're complaining for vegetables and fruits, fish. Ribono Shel Olam, you have the super food. You could eat whatever, you taste as you wish, and you get the nutrition for it as well. It's like people who have to take vitamins or pills. Unless they know that they don't take it, they will unfortunately die or get really sick. There's a laziness not to take them. Are you too lazy to eat? Yeah, if it's dull, bland food, you're maybe lazy to eat. But something which is delicious, rich to look at, exciting, tasty, then you'll eat it. It's one of the greatest gifts God gave humanity, the world, was the appearance of food. So he says, because we learn this lesson from the man, that the Jewish people were always hungry and unsatisfied because they couldn't see the food that they were tasting. Therefore, in order to supply ourselves with the most enjoyable Shabbat and the most enjoyable Shabbat meal, not only is the food supposed to taste good and will taste good, but it also needs to be seen. And that's how he brings out this verse. From this verse, the connection between the man and Nerot Shabbat. It's a trivia question. Go over and ask anybody. Most people don't know. Truth is, before I learned the Zera Shimshon, I didn't know. Ask someone, what's the correlation between the manna and Hadlakat Nerot Shabbat? They'll look at you with a question mark. Maybe that it's bread that's on the table in the same room that the candles are in. But this is a very strong connection. Shabbat is all about oneg Shabbat. Enjoying Shabbat. Enjoying Shabbat means to enjoy it not only spiritually, mentally, emotionally, but also physically. And it's a time of the week that if we don't stop, we don't pause from the chaos of running after what? Even I look at myself. What are we always running after? What are we always so busy with? What are we always looking at our phones? Where are we always driving? We find many excuses. But that's the beauty of Shabbat. We get to stop. We get to recharge emotionally and physically and spiritually. We need it. It is important. The reason why God instituted it was so important back then. But in my opinion, it's even more important nowadays. It is so important to stop in order to get recharged. And part of that is creating a beautiful ambiance in the home. An ambiance which promotes happiness, tranquility, spending quality time with your family. If we didn't keep Shabbat, it'd just be like another night. Everyone would quickly eat and get back to your phones, or get back to work, or to watching TV. It's cheap. It's missing out on the greatest opportunity to build your family. The greatest way to build your family is through Shabbats. It's through the Shabbat meals. It's through mommies and savtas' amazing food. And it's through spending time together, spending that long afternoon together, doing whatever you do, reading books, playing games, talking, walking, anything. Shabbat is family time. If we optimize that time, we will surely see the tremendous rewards. Besides for all of the spiritual rewards, just physically, you will see a difference in your family. Most will see it right away, but the longer you hold on to it, the greater the reward that you will see actually will come to fruition.